takes like 30 seconds or so.
Right.
But once you see live on Switchboard, it's live. Like
I see it. All right.
Yeah, we're live then, baby.
All right, cool.
Do
Awesome.
this thing. Do it.
All right, let me hit this record. Where is?
Yeah, we're live. I see it right now. I'm looking at it.
Nice.
3 people watching. Come on, Curtis.
Hey,
Let's
look
go.
at
I'm waving. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. Good afternoon. Happy March 26th, 2021. It is finally here. I feel like I have no clue where we're at in the I feel like it's still New Year, like we're still right on that beginning of time. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Head's kind of swimming around. Is that just me?
I think it's all of us, man. I don't know what's up right now. I'm with you.
It is crazy. It is crazy. Well, welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us for this DMD Live. We are going to be sharing and just chatting today, just sharing some cool information. So for those who don't know me, I am Curtis Webster. I founded Dad's Married to Doctors actually just a little bit over 6 years ago. So we are celebrating 6 years. And once a month or every so often, I love to come in, bring some experts in various fields and some other DMDs like I have joining me today, and just chat about different topics that are important to us as we figure out how to best live what we call this DMD lifestyle, all in our journey to become better fathers, better husbands, and better men. So today I am excited to have joining me Mr. Chris Gooden, our esteemed DMD Fitness Coach. Hey, buddy.
Absolutely. Happy to be here, man. This is exciting.
Yeah. And then also my partner in arms, our DMD Chief Operating Officer and Leadership Guru, Mr. Scott McCarthy.
Hey, how's everyone doing? Hey.
That's right.
Cheers.
Representing. Yeah. So good stuff. Well, fellas, welcome. Today we are going to be chatting about actually one of Scott's circles, leading ourselves. We all have goals. We all have things that we are trying to accomplish. And there's one thing that we know will happen in the process of living life. We will run into a wall. We will hit a barrier. Right?
Damn straight.
Absolutely. We all do. It happens.
It's inevitable,
It happens.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we're reading a book in DMD Plus. So for those, I know we have a ton of new guys that have just joined our free public Facebook group. DMD Plus is our separate Facebook private community for dads that were looking for specific ways to level up in these various areas of fatherhood, manhood, and personal and professional development in marriage as well. And so within Plus, right now, we have 40 guys that are focusing on a few different areas. The 2 main areas we're dealing with right now are a book club. So we're working on our education, and then also our fitness with 75 Hard. So we are...
No. I'm going to correct you right there now. It is
Good catch,
not
Scott.
fitness. It's our
Good
mental
catch.
toughness.
This is
fitness,
true.
our fitness, like the damn 16 pounds off of this cat, is the byproduct of the mental toughness.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Boom.
That is a good point. I love it. And see, one of the things that I'm learning, especially in the book club, in a book that we're reading right now, is, a lot of us, we try and set ourselves up in life to avoid problems, avoid issues. We try and do as much as we can on the front end, hoping, wishing, praying that we won't have any issues on the back end. And it is always good to plan. No, you definitely want to be as planned and prepared as possible. But something the book is talking about is just all the best plans can be laid. Everybody's got a plan until you get hit in the mouth.
Thank you, Mike Tyson. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
In the Army, we like to say no plan survives the line of departure. The line of departure being when we step across and go on to an operation. So, yeah, it's so true.
Yeah. So, we definitely want to do what we can. We want to plan, but at the same time, we also want to learn how to roll with the punches. And we also want to know what's going to be our backup plan, or what's going to be our course of action for when we do hit those speed bumps, when we do hit those curves in the road. Now, before that, I also want to say happy match day, happy post match day, match week, match celebration for those that match. I remember, and actually, as talking about kind of life throwing you, a fork in the road and so on and so forth. I remember as we were getting ready, actually, Allison had gotten the letter She had matched. We were at UNC Chapel Hill. We had gone and interviewed all over the place. She opened up the letter, found out we were heading up to upstate New York, which was actually our top choice, but it was still a surprise. Moving from North Carolina, having to relocate up to upstate New York. We already had one child in tow with Sarai, who's about to turn 12 next week, which blows my mind, man. So already had one child in tow, and so now we're having to uproot our whole lives and head up to a whole new area and kind of restart. And so that's the whole thing. The career was on a trajectory. I had, we had all the friends and we had, all the family stuff going. We were kind of figuring out life, being a dad married to a doctor, being a physician family, and then you get this big curveball. How do you, having to figure out how to move forward, right? So, Chris, yeah. What was it like for you? What was it like for you as you were going through match day?
We changed states also. We were up in Johnson City, Tennessee, which is in the northeast corner of Tennessee. Katie, my wife, and I are both from Tennessee, so we had been in Tennessee almost our whole life. We went down to Birmingham, Alabama, which was a huge change for us. Not just states. There were different football teams down there, which I wasn't happy about. Let's just throw that out there. Different time zone. It was weird. And I think one of the things that for any of you going through this right now, try to enjoy it because it comes really fast. Yeah. It's a whirlwind, especially it wasn't our choice. It wasn't our first choice. And a lot of people go through that. So try to slow it down and enjoy it. And one of the things I would say to any of the dads, I mean, if you're changing states, you're going to a different city, just give yourself some grace, because it's hard to change locations because you're changing for your spouse's career, not for yours. So that can really impact you mentally and emotionally. When you're moving to a different city, you don't know anyone. So just give yourself some grace, give yourself some time to adjust. If I had to do it all over again, I would not have jumped out as fast as I could to find a job. I would have tried to explore the city a little bit, not be lazy or anything like that, but try to support my wife a little bit more than I probably did. But that was years ago when I was young and dumb, so that's okay. and conveniently we didn't have any kids with us yet, so it was just the two of us. So yeah, just give yourself some grace if you're moving, especially if it's not your first choice.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great place to start, because like you said, when you get that curveball, instead of immediately reacting, like you said, slow down, take that step back and kind of evaluate the situation, reevaluate what's going on, right?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. And I think you hit a good point too with saying enjoying the journey, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in how crazy everything is, starting over in a brand new place, but really slowing down to make sure you're taking it all in and really enjoying it for what it is, right?
Yeah, just enjoy it. New city, new opportunities.
Yeah,
you'll meet friends. We all that have been through it, you probably still have friends that you communicate with and talk with that you met when your spouse was in residency. So it's a good time. It's a good time.
No, I love that. For those of y'all that are watching us, we'd love to know where you, what was your match experience like? Did you get your first choice? Did you end up moving to a place that you wanted? Or even like one of my friends that was one of my local DMDs, Peter, they ended up, his wife did medicine in her training over in Africa. And so when they moved to North Carolina, she was told that she had to kind of start over. So she had to kind of go through the whole process and find a new place to match. And even though she had been practicing, back home, she had to kind of start over and go through the whole process. So sometimes even that whole match process doesn't look like you expected. So yeah, I'd love to hear some of your different match stories down in the comments. But Scott, you were telling me in Canada, it's kind of similar process, just different date, right?
Yeah. So I got a completely different experience than what you guys got, and probably most of the guys in DMD as a whole. So our match day is about a month later. So I just Googled it. For this year, it's the 20th of April. Very similar process.
My birthday. That's a great day to have a match.
So why was it a completely different experience? Because both myself and my wife are both military.
Mm-hmm.
So we spent her entire med school living apart for 4 years. The final year of med school, I lived here. I had moved here to Kingston, Ontario. She was going to school in Sudbury. That's a 6.5 to 6.5 hour drive apart. So when she was going through her 4th year, there was a lot of placements. So she did every placement here in Kingston. So she applied and got all of her placements here to better her odds of matching here to Kingston. On top of that, the program here in Kingston has the highest number of military assigned seats for matching for the family medicine program. So she applied for that. Ironically, every time she came home for a placement, the Army sent me somewhere in the world.
Naturally.
Right. It's because at that time I was working in the unit I'm working now. So a high readiness organization. I was living on 12 hours notice to move. And the best part of this whole thing, so we got her match, and she matched here to Kingston. And the weekend, she moved home on Thursday in April, some point, or not April, May, I think it was. Anyway, she moved home, and the Friday, our time, Friday night, there was a massive earthquake in Nepal in 2015. Saturday, I'm sitting on the couch. She's about 6 months pregnant with her oldest. My phone rings. It's my boss. He's like, get your kit. The plane leaves in 3.5 hours. You might be going. I'm not sure yet. And I had known something was up at that point. So I put the phone down. She looks at me. She's like, what? I'm like, I got to go get my stuff. And she's like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't have time to talk to you. Epic fail. Never tell a pregnant lady you don't have time to talk.
Yeah.
Write that down. Write that down.
So I have to tell people that story when I'm talking about life in the Army, and especially the unit I'm at, the 1st Canadian Division headquarters. I often tell them that story. The funny part was I literally rushed. I mean, like bolting across the city, 4 ways going, grab my crap, grab my stuff, grab a bunch, whatever I can think of, loaded up my truck, flying back up the road, 4 ways going type thing, trying to get to Trenton because the airfield is an hour down the road. So you do the math. I live 20 minutes from the base one direction. I got 3.5 hours before the plane takes off. I need an hour to get there, to get checked in, get my stuff loaded in, and it's an hour drive. So I had about 45 minutes of spare time to get my stuff together. And my boss called me again. He said, never mind. So that's my match story, quasi match story. But yeah, it's a very different experience for us being in the military. But to go back, so we have a high number of seats, not a high number. We have a bunch of seats for the military physicians across the different teaching universities here in the country. So they apply mainly to those, but they can match to other universities. But we have, it's basically priority seats, right? Mm-hmm. So I think there's 6 positions here in Kingston. So no matter what, there are always 6, what we refer to as MOs or medical officers that will go through residency here in Kingston every year.
Okay.
So we were lucky. So we got reunited. We got reunited after 4 years of living apart through medical school, and me doing crazy crap with the Army and spending in 2 years 200 days on the road, international and crap like that. So
see, you got to change up how you tell the end of that story though, Scott. You got to say we got reunited and it feels so good. You missed the opportunity.
She was 6 months pregnant when we got reunited. So
oh man, I know Chris knows what I'm talking about, being in Tennessee with all that good music.
So, absolutely.
Oh man. But so that's what we're going to talk about today, folks, is, you're going down a plan. You kind of mapped out what you thought life was going to look like. And then all of a sudden you have these curveballs, these things that get thrown into the path, that get thrown into your way. And what do you do? Sometimes you're trucking right along, especially, Chris, we'll start off with you, from a fitness perspective, and like Scott said, 75 hard is not a fitness challenge. It is a mental toughness challenge with a fitness component. But yeah, Chris, let's kick it over to you though. So, you have all these clients, you're training folks, they all have these goals and they come to you and say, hey, I want to lose some pounds. I want to lose some inches. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just say, I want to get in better shape, and what does that mean? Because, round is a shape.
It is. It's a shape. It's a shape.
but so they're working out with you, or they've been trying to do some stuff on their own and they hit a wall. They're not seeing the results like they want. What's your go-to? What's that conversation like for you from a fitness perspective?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Everybody hits it. Everybody hits the wall, no matter what we do. We hit the wall here in the gym. We hit the wall with our nutrition. It's normal. So the first thing you got to realize is it's totally normal. And one of the themes that we'll talk about in this talk today is focusing on what your goal is and remembering why you even started in the first place. So if your goal is, let's say your goal is to lose weight, okay? Because that's what a lot of people, their goal is, right? Their goal is to lose weight. We know that to lose weight, it's really easy, but that doesn't mean, it's really simple, but that doesn't mean it's really easy. To lose weight, we have to expend more calories than we intake. It really boils down to that. And the research is astonishingly clear, although social media makes it a little bit more confusing than I like to admit. But okay, so perfect example, I'll give an example and then I'll talk about it in a little bit. Had a client who has been making steady progress for about 6 months. This particular client's lost about 60 pounds in 6 months. Just incredible. Like I'm so proud of them. And what's unique and weird is their progress has been linear. So in a downward trajectory. That's not normal. Most of the time, what you see is up and down along the way, with the whole thing going down. Okay, we've all seen a bar graph, I hope. But 3 weeks ago now, 4 weeks ago now, this particular client reached out to me. They didn't lose weight 1 week. In fact, their weight went up. Naturally, as you have done, I have done, everyone has done, you freak out. I'm trying to lose weight. I've been losing weight for 6 months. It's been successful. It's working. What happened? What did I do wrong? I didn't change my I'm keeping everything exactly the same.
Yeah.
What do I do? What we talked about was, let's keep everything exactly the same from a nutritional standpoint, right? We wrote it out for another week. And what happened? This client started losing weight again because it's not always linear. So the first thing is, when you hit a wall and you stop losing weight and you're tracking everything, if you stop losing weight, give it a week or two to really make sure that you didn't just hit a blip, okay? And see if that loss keeps going. If it stagnates for a week or two and you're not seeing any progress, and that weight maintains after 2 weeks, even 3 weeks, if you want to extend it a little bit, that's when we make a change. We drop calories, maybe 50 to 100 calories, very small changes, which most people don't like to hear, to kind of kick that back off again. But it ends up going back to, why are you doing it in the first place? Yeah, losing weight might be why you started, but while you're doing it, you're getting stronger. You're building your capacity to do more. You're feeling better. So it might start off with a weight loss, but your goal might change along the way to, I just want to feel better. I just want to be strong. I just want to be able to pick my kid up. One of my goals right now as dads, I think this should all be our goal. Okay. I'm going to throw it out there right now. I want to be able to pick my son up, who's 9 and about 70, 75 pounds right now. I want to be able to pick him up just like I can right now until he's an adult, almost my age. And I'm 40. Any Jeff Gunn or who's the guy for Oklahoma State? Any Oklahoma State fans? I'm 40. I'm a man. I'm 40. Anybody? Okay. Anyway, that's one of my goals. And that's why I'm going to continue to lift weights, lift heavy weights, try to keep getting strong and stay strong so I can be able to pick up my 230 pound son just like I can right now. And I'm going to do it when he's 40 and I'm whatever that is, 70, 71, I guess. And so it changes along the way, but you still have that end result. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And I like that. I like the story you told. And I think you hit the nail on the head, because a lot of times when these curveballs happen, like in your example with the losing of the weight, and all of a sudden it's not losing weight anymore, it goes back to one of those key principles that Scott always talks about. And that's the whole idea of how do you even know when you've hit a barrier? And Scott, I know one of the things you always talk about with leading yourself is what gets measured gets managed. So Scott, I'd love for you to share, even with that, because a lot of times people will come and they'll come with these unclear goals and they'll say, hey, I want to lose weight, but you're almost setting yourself up to fail when you don't have some of that clarity. So Scott, let's hear from you about some of these principles behind leading ourselves.
Yeah, I love what Chris said. We're going to tap into it. We'll keep this theme of losing weight going just because, one, it's easy and common theme, and a lot of people can relate to it. So I really like what Chris said. And when we talk about measuring things and being specific, we actually need to start ambiguous and work towards the specific, right? And that goes back to that why and your values and what do you want? Kind of like what Chris said, I want to be able to just pick up my son. Well, you have no idea how much your son's going to weigh when he's 25, but you want to be able to do that. Why? Because you want to be that dad who essentially keeps up with your son, right? When you're 50 or 60 or however old it is. It's like, why do you want to get in shape? I want to look good naked. Well, can you measure that? No, you can't. I want to feel good about myself. Sorry, can't measure it. So what are the different tactics out there that you can do that brings you towards the thing, right? Working out X number of times per week is one of them. Eating healthy is another way of doing it. But that's ambiguous. So, okay, what does that mean? Well, you need to, now we'll go into that what gets measured, gets managed thing, right? And I'll tell you what the key to my success for the past couple, 2.5 months is being like measuring my macros to the level. And when I say, okay, I'm going to eat, we'll say 40 grams of something, it ain't 41 and it's not 38. And like when I'm picking my granola, at times I am literally picking one little morsel of granola on or off my plate to get to that 40. Because that is how you get to your results. You have to be that deliberate. So measuring your weight, measuring your food intake, measuring how long you exercise and what you're doing for exercise. So these are all the different things. And that's a great thing about 75 Hard. It's very specific. You do 45 minutes, right? It's not 44, 59. It is minimum 45. You read a minimum of 10 pages per day, et cetera, et cetera. So what gets measured gets managed, but you don't know what to measure until you start from the ambiguous, right? Mm-hmm. And going back and having an understanding of, ultimately that why. Why is it you want to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve? Because along that path, what happens is you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly, like Chris said, you hit that plateau, you hit that wall, and you're like, I'm not progressing anymore. Whether that is weight, maybe that's development, maybe could be, pick a goal, any goal out there. I don't care. Maybe it's writing a book, maybe it's learning a guitar, maybe it's something. You always hit that plateau. And what a lot of people need to do is go back and look at the why, and you go, okay, now what are those actions that I'm taking to achieve that why? Oh, I have this action mastered. I'm not going to get any better. I can go ahead and deadlift 200 pounds all day long. At one point, it's not going to make me stronger anymore. I'm going to plateau. No matter what, I mean, you keep going up on the reps, keep going up on the reps. I'm still going to basically stagnate at that plateau. That happens in everything. So then you reevaluate, like, is this something that is helping me get to that next level? Because what got you here is not going to get you there.
That's right.
Right? Because if it was, you'd be there. And that would be here. And guess what? What get you here is not going to get you there.
That's right.
So that's why you got to go back and do that reevaluation period. And a lot of people feel like that's a failure. That's not. That's actually a sign of success. You're moving towards that. So you got to go back. And the thing I always ask, and this is a very Army-ish saying, you got to ask yourself the question, has this situation changed? Have things changed? Guess what? Yeah, they have. So you need to reevaluate and go through that whole process again of, why am I doing this? What's going to me? Where do I want to get? What's actually going to get me to get there? Okay, what are the tangible actions now that I can measure to achieve the things that I want to achieve for the reasons that I want to achieve them?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I was listening to Oprah Winfrey earlier today, and she was doing a whole talk about intentions. And one of the things she talked about is exactly what you both just hit on the nail on the head about. She said, it's not just the why, but what's the why behind the why? You get to that point where, like you said, your why will only get you so far. And now, like Princess and the Frog, like Tiana, you got to dig a little deeper. Man, I don't know what's up with me, and I'm on the music kick today, man.
That's a good song though, so that's okay.
It's like Tiana said, you got to dig a little deeper. I'm telling you, man. So, hey, you can learn something watching kids' movies. Hey, man. But
100%.
But that's what she was talking about, the why behind the why. And I love what you were hitting on, Scott. I was chatting with my oldest, my soon-to-be 12-year-old earlier today, because she was not understanding why we were telling her to take notes and to really kind of understand the information she was getting from class. She was like, I took the quiz and I got 100. I took the test, I got an 80. So if I'm getting the good grades, why are you so concerned about me taking notes and rewriting the information and so on and so forth? And I said, here's the thing. You're getting it now, you're understanding in class, and you're getting the A's, which is fantastic. I'm actually not even concerned about the A's and pushing for all that. I want to make sure you understand the information so you can use it and apply it later on in life. I need you to dig a little deeper and understand the why behind the why. I don't want you to learn the information just so you can get 100. I want you to learn the information so you can use it and apply it throughout your life.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And to go back to that and to what Scott was saying, I'll pull out my workout log. I mean, it's a notebook. I've got stacks of these over the years. And I think that when it comes to nutrition, and I speak on the nutrition and training side, but when you write things down, when you plan, when you have a specific training program, you tend to make better progress. You tend to not hit the walls as much. And that's if we apply that to life, let's think about it. Let's think about it in terms of life. If we just walk through and kind of wing everything, we're not going to make the progress that we could have, but we're much more likely to hit that roadblock very quickly because we haven't thought down the line what might be coming. And I think when we write down, when we're more deliberate with what we really want, when we start out, Scott made a good point, when we start out with the ambiguous and kind of get a little bit more clearer as we go, I think it allows us to be a little bit more honest with ourselves. And we, as men, I think we really need this. We really get to the point of, that's what I want. I want that.
Exactly.
And for me, that's helped quite a lot in my years. Is really, as we think about back to match day, I didn't know what I wanted then. and as we develop that, and as we really start honing in on our specific goals, writing things down, planning things out, it really makes a difference. And I'll go back to Scott. Measuring and weighing your food can be a game changer for a lot of folks. I don't want to turn this into a nutrition talk, but if you are at that roadblock where you're trying to gain weight, lose weight, whatever, and it's not working, and you are eyeballing your food and guesstimating what a cup of oatmeal is, spend $15 on Amazon, use the DMD link, spend $15 on Amazon and buy a food scale and weigh it. It will absolutely change your perspective on how much food and how many calories are in that food.
That's good.
Peanut butter. If you like peanut butter or almond butter or anything like that, just be prepared to have your heart broken. I'm just telling you, because one serving of peanut butter is not that much. But that's an easy way to get over a nutrition hurdle if you aren't weighing and measuring anything right now.
No, that's awesome, Chris. And I want to dive a little bit deeper into what you talked about in the planning aspect, right? And the reasons why people end up hitting walls and they start making bad decisions. And the theory behind that is it's called decision fatigue. And especially for people like myself in high tempo, high stress jobs who spend their days literally making decisions all day long, you get tired of making decisions. So when it comes to your personal self and making, the goals and, keeping with this nutrition theme, just because it's easy, you come home, you don't have a plan for supper. What do? You go for the easiest thing, which could be the drive-through on the way home, or that frozen pizza that you just toss and fire and forget into the oven and set the timer. All those things that aren't helping you towards that goal of whatever it is you're trying, just to be healthy and stuff like this. So this is why I love pre-planning my week and making a plan for my week. Now, a lot of people will get, planning mixed up with the 10 commandments. A plan is not something that's set in stone. It's literally a plan. It's a guide that you're going to follow along to with the week. So my wife actually does this. She plans out our meals, our supper meals for the week, every Sunday. And she writes them on this little chalkboard thing that we have. And I know exactly what we're having for supper. Tonight's chicken legs with vegetables and rice. Now, that being said, sometimes we don't have what's there for whatever reason. Again, back to situation change. Our fridge is full of leftovers. Let's have leftover night. So we clear out the fridge. So the chicken legs and rice and vegetables, well, we're going to shift that and we're going to make it another day. So when you preload your week with a plan, and this is something that I talk about in my online course, my Power Goals program, which the guys in DMD Plus have free access to. When you preload your week, you plan out your week, and you put in those tangible actions that I talked about earlier towards achieving your goals. And that could be health related, and that could be anything else related. It enables you to now achieve them better. Why? Because then you also know where your flex time is, when your free time is. You have understanding. And when you have nights like I had last night, when my son woke up at 2:45 screaming bloody murder because he had a nightmare, and it took me until 3:30 to get him calmed down and back in his bed and sleep. And I slept through my watch alarm this morning, and I still had to get my workout in. I know when I can shift that from 5 a.m. workout to lunchtime today, right? So it enables you. It's not concrete. It's actually flexible. And that's what a lot of people, especially men, don't understand. Because a lot of guys out there is like, see, didn't work. This is garbage. But the reality is, it's like, no, it's not. It's just that you have to flex with the situation that's going on. So yeah, I think, my night's sleep was crap. So what I did, instead of having a chilled lunch like I normally do on Fridays, I came home, did my 45-minute workout, went back to work. Because I got to get it in. And that means tonight it's not video games or Netflix. Or it might be Netflix on my laptop on my treadmill as I'm doing a 45-minute weight walk. So you just, you shift it, you adjust, you go with it. You need to be a little bit fluid. Plans are meant to be flexible, like we said at the beginning. And that is how you get past these barriers, these humps, these plateaus. Not going, oh, I have to be rigid. I have to do it this way every day. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, that works up until the point it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, you need to understand where you can flex and where you can shift and then adapt, adjust, overcome, and succeed.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Scott and Chris, that's amazing. Y'all are dropping some amazing nuggets. I hope folks are taking notes. So as a quick recap, folks, for where we're at so far, and then we're going to start to bring this thing home. So we talked about number one, accepting the fact that you're going to hit a wall. There's going to be that curve in the road. There's going to be that wall that you're going to hit. You're going to hit that plateau, and at some point, so you might as well go ahead and expect for it. And like Scott said, go ahead and pre-plan. Go ahead and, as Chris talked about, leave some flexibility in there so that when those things do happen, you have some flexibility in your schedule, or you have some options where you can already move those things around to make sure you're still accomplishing your goal. That was the other thing they talked about. Chris talked about enjoying the process. As you're going through, you've hopefully identified a little bit about why you're even trying to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. Now you've hit that wall, you have to go back to what it was that you're trying to do. So you're looking at that process, you have your why, you're enjoying the process. Something we didn't mention, but I'll add in here. Approach that with an attitude of gratitude, like they talked about. Actually, we did mention it. Don't beat yourself up about it. Make sure you realize that it's not a failure. It's just something that was inevitable, like they say in the Matrix. It was inevitable. And you're going to have to go ahead and roll with it and reevaluate. So let me ask you this, Chris. All right, so you've done all these different things. Sometimes you look back at your why, you know why you're doing it, and you're actually just going to keep on keeping on because the plan that you have is actually a good plan. You just need to keep doing a little bit longer. At what point, though, do you need to bring in an outside perspective? At what point should we look at a coach or somebody that can maybe give us some insight, because maybe what we have been doing up to this certain point really just isn't working?
Great question. I'm a little biased, but as a coach, I think coaches are invaluable. I've had a nutrition coach in my life. I've had a strength conditioning coach. I'm in a network of strength and conditioning coaches right now where we actually end up coaching each other. Business coaches. I've learned from coaches in DMD Plus. Coaches are so valuable for this reason. You could be making progress, incredible progress. They could come in, look at your situation, tweak one thing, and your progress could be absolutely exponentially grown. So I always think a coach is valuable. If you're on the fence, or if you aren't really at the stage yet where you think a coach would be valuable, I would just look at making sure that you are, as Scott mentioned, measuring what you're doing, whether that's weighing food, but measuring your progress in the gym, or measuring how many pages of a book you're reading a day, whatever it is. Make sure you're measuring it, and make sure you are evaluating if you're making progress. Once that progress stops is a perfect opportunity to hire a coach. If you're in the gym and you're just throwing things against a wall and seeing what sticks and just doing whatever, hire a coach, please. It doesn't have to be me, but hire a coach. Don't just throw things against the wall. We don't see long-term progress that way. You need to be on a good comprehensive program. But that's, I guess, without getting long-winded, that's what I would say. I think coaches are so valuable in a variety of fields. The only thing I would say, find a coach that you feel comfortable enough disclosing all of your information that is necessary for them, because the more honest and open you can be with your coach, the more they can help you. If you hold back, like if I'm working with someone and they're holding back and I'm asking them about their nutrition and they're embarrassed that they had a Krispy Kreme donut because they got their vaccine, which isn't a problem, by the way, but that's for another topic. But they feel bad about telling me that. I can't help them enough, right? And Scott, I'd love to get your perspective on that as well, but that's my take on that situation.
Well, and we've heard that from the doctor too. You're going in for your annual checkup. The doctor can't give you the information if you're not providing all the appropriate things to go to the diagnosis.
Exactly. You need to be ready to let them help you, because that's what they're there for.
No, that's awesome, Chris. What I would add on, to your last part there, and then I'll take it a little bit of different direction. Who are you cheating? You're only cheating yourself in the end. It's like, oh, I'm not going to tell my partner that I went out to McDonald's over lunch today because we're having our cheat meal together tonight, and we're ordering a pizza. Well, who are you cheating? Your body knows everything. You're cheating yourself in the end. So not disclosing information, it gives a skewed analysis, right? It skews the data, which skews the analysis, and then skews the path that you're going on. So open, transparent, like who cares? Like, your doctor, ultimately, your doctor cares, but doesn't care, if you know what I mean. Like, they don't care what you do. It's your body. But if you don't tell them what you're doing, they can't provide you advice, guidance to get you to be on the right path. I liked what you talked about. When you don't know what to do, you definitely need a coach. What I would say to people out there is, how much is your time worth to you? Right. And I'll give a completely different example. When I started my podcast 5 years ago now, man, I should have hired a coach. But my why at the time was it was a hobby. When I decided to get serious, that I should have hired a coach. But I looked at the money and said, no, the money is, it's a lot of money to hire a coach. What I failed to realize is it's going to take me 5.5 years to figure out what the heck I was actually doing. How much is your time worth to you? And are you actually serious about your goal? So if you're actually serious about your goal and you go into the research of whatever it is that takes, okay, let's roll with the podcast example. You want to start a podcast for your business, and you want to, start a podcast to help promote your business or whatever. And you want to try to figure that out on your own. Good luck. You're going to spend days, if not weeks, scouring the internet for resources and sources and all this stuff. That is where coaches, maybe online courses, support groups come to play. This is where, you need help, because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know where to find information. So it's like another person used analogy of hiring a coach is like walking into in Lowe's and going, hey, where are your drills at? They're in aisle 15. Okay, cool. Boom, you're in aisle 15. Vice taking 25 minutes, looking around, and then finally finding aisle 15 with the drills. So
and spending a whole lot more money in the process, because you're going to pick up other things before you get to aisle 15.
Right. And then you don't realize it's not that drill I need. It's the other drill over there I need, because the one I got is a piece of junk and actually doesn't do what I need it to do. I need a DeWalt Impact 20 volt. And I picked up this, Roby 12 volt standard drill, right? That's good for about 25 minutes. And I'm doing a big project. So, at that point, it's like, how much is your time worth to you? We're all busy dudes, kids, wives who are busy, stuff like this. I actually have a dollar figure assigned to 1 hour of my time. And if I do the math, is that over or under? If it's under, then doing that thing is not worth it. If it's over, then it is. And it's like, will I save money? Well, how much is coaching? How much is that course? Oh, it's $300. How many hours am I going to spend trying to figure out what that course provides you. The course is 15 hours worth of content. I figure it's going to be 150 hours for me to figure it out, because guess what? It's easily 10 times more for you to figure things out on your own than someone who's already been there. Right. So 150 hours at $100, is the course worth it? Hell yes.
$300 all day.
All right.
I love it.
So that's just one way I go about doing things and looking at it. And I am a huge fan of coaches, support groups, and online courses for things that I'm trying to, achieve. YouTube is great, but you can scour YouTube for days.
That's right.
Find those authorities in the space that you're looking to achieve things. Find those authorities, see that, see what they're offering. And maybe there's some other people out there who are in the space that, may not be as high a level of authority, but guess what? They know what the hell they're talking about too. And check out their stuff. And you know what? Go ahead and give it a shot. You will not be disappointed. I should have bought a podcasting course day one when I got serious with my show. I should have bought a business coach or hired a business coach when I got serious at day one. Luckily, I learned pretty quickly on the podcasting front. I picked up a business mentor along the route, right, which has helped me. So that person is now a coach who actually does it for free, and we just share things. But at one point, I hired a social media coach because I needed help with my social media presence. So guess what? I still need help, but at least now I know what I now know what I didn't know at the time, and I'm helping guide. I'm going to bring someone on and guide them to do what it is I need them to do. So,
see, and that goes back to what y'all talked about earlier. One of the main benefits of having a coach is, number one, they get to see it from the outside. And so sometimes they can see areas of improvement, or maybe even areas that you're blowing out of the park that you might be beating yourself up about, things that you don't see for yourself. The other part of it is the fact that you don't know what you don't know. So you could be sitting there trying to spin your wheels. You think you have an idea why you're not losing those inches or why your podcast isn't taking off. And the coach could be like, oh yeah, look at you. You're working out. You're in the gym every day for 2 hours, but you're eating McDonald's, on your way home, stuff like that. So Chris, you had something to add to that?
Yeah, I think Scott kind of got it pretty sufficiently. But if you look, the only thing that I would add, if you look at some of the most successful people in the world,
yeah.
Look at the men and women in Marvel movies. Look at all of the leaders that we see every day. Look at Scott's example, the best podcast hosts. They've all hired a coach.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they have all hired a coach. And look, we're biased. I get it because we are coaches, but it can save you money. It can save you time, headache. Hiring one. There are things around my house that I could do.
Yep.
I'm going to hire a professional to do it.
This is where guys, sometimes our ego gets in the way. We think we know everything. We think we can figure it out. And we live in this day and age of YouTube and everything's on the internet. Look, now if you want to learn how to do something, you just go and get that latest TikTok tutorial and you can learn everything you want to know on YouTube or TikTok.
Seriously. But I would rather pay someone to do it, that has that expertise.
That's right.
So I can spend some time with my family. I don't have to stress over it. Right.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
This is where we can take a page out of the book of our spouses, because look, like my wife is emergency medicine. We were talking about the other day. They were like, oh, are you just a jack of all trades? She said, no, I'm a specialist in keeping you alive. And then I get you to the people that can make your life better, or, actually heal you and do all these other things. But where I specialize is keeping you alive. For everything else, I'm calling a consult and I'm sending you out to them. And that's where sometimes, especially as guys, our ego gets in the way and we want to try and know it all. So as we wrap up here, folks, I'm telling you, one of the things that's amazing about what we're doing with DMD Plus, and we have gone through, we first opened up back in September. Like I said, we have 40 guys in DMD Plus that are just, blowing it out of the park, all different sets of goals, all on their own timeline. That's the thing. It's all about what you want. Like Scott said earlier, what is it that you want? And behind that, the other challenge of it, or the other question is, are you willing to put your money where your mouth is? Because I will tell you, I've been looking to lose inches for years, ever since, like I said, my oldest is about to turn 12 next week. Ever since my wife gained the baby weight, I gained the baby weight, and I've had this belly ever since. I have not been able to lose it until now. In these last, what is this, Scott? 53 days in? How far in are we on this?
Day 54.
Day 54. I put on by accident. I put on some of my size 34 pants the other day by accident. I have some pants in the back of the closet that I'm like, one day I'm going to get back into these. We were way behind on laundry, and I grabbed one of those pairs, not even realizing it, slipped it on, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? Looked at the tag, and I was like, whoa, these are these 34s I haven't been able to put on and actually have space in. I had to start buying jeans with the little elastic. And anybody else with me that got the little button on the inside of their pants? Maybe that's just me. But not until now, where I had coaches in Plus, and then also the biggest piece of it too is the accountability. Guys that I'm talking to on a daily and weekly basis that are able to keep me in the process. So we're going to actually be reopening up the doors for Plus on May 1st. So if you're interested in trying to get around some coaches, trying to get in an environment where you can actually get, actually figure out your goals and have folks to help hold you accountable, pop on over to dadsmarriedtodoctors.com/DMD Plus waiting list. And it's actually a button right there at the top of the page, and check it out. Get on the waiting list. And if it's something for you, then great, come join us. If not, then no big deal. We have plenty of great content within the free group, as well as here across all of our social media. So as we wrap up, Chris and Scott, we'll start with you. Let's talk about the importance of accountability, and then also where, what you're going to be chatting with folks about in May as we open the doors back up for Plus.
Yeah. So first off, I'd like to say we talked a lot about health and fitness, especially with regards to Plus. There's guys crushing it in other areas in that group too, right? Not just health and fitness, not just doing 75 hard. So if that is, you're like, oh, I'm fine in health and fitness, I don't need this group. Well, there's other areas. There's guys that are leveling up their lives and developing deeper connections with their wives, with their kids through that book club that you talked about, Curtis. And there's so many great examples. I don't want to dive too deep because some of it's super personal, but it's just not, the inches and the pounds, but there's a lot of other ways that guys are leveling up their lives in there. So it's a growth focused thing, a growth focused group. We do run 2 weekly live call teams right now, looking to add a third, where every week guys just come on and we focus in on, how you're doing, how your week's been, the wins, the struggles that you're having. And we discuss these things like men, and not whine and complain and, beep about them, but rather look for solutions to the problems that we're facing. So that is that's what we also do. And in my group, which I run Thursday nights, we're also a very goal focused group. So we discuss all the goals, not just health and fitness. Like for me, my business, my podcast is part of that. Goals for my kids and my wife is part of that, and much like the other guys in that call team. So that is what we do in there. So there's a little bit of misconception, I think, still running around DMD, what we do in DMD Plus. This is what we're doing. So come May, we're definitely going to be reopening the doors, bringing guys back in, opening up for guys to come back in. And I'd love to see you in there, because if you're having difficulties getting through those barriers and those platforms, this may be the change you need. This might be that little nudge where you get some other guys go, hey, have you looked at it this way? Or hey, have you tackled this? Or have you thought about that? Or like, oh, you got a difficult day coming up. I'll drop you a line to make sure you do what you said you were going to do. All those things. Or next week at the call team, we're going to ask you about that. And then, that's a huge motivator for people, because they don't want to be letting other guys down, or they don't want to tell other guys that they failed. So that's the types of things you can definitely look forward to in May from my standpoint anyway.
Yeah. And like you said, Scott, and the great thing about it is, if we do fall short, because none of us are perfect, we all fall short, but we're not beating each other up about it. And the main thing is that we learn to stop beating our own selves up about our shortcomings, and learning that it's going to happen. We're going to hit those barriers, but there's a group of folks a group of guys that are interested in helping us to overcome those and figure out new solutions. Maybe we should keep on keeping on and we just need some encouragement, or maybe we should think about things from a different perspective and try it a little bit of a different way. So Chris, I know you have been doing our fitness and really helping the guys to figure out their nutrition and all those different things. I know you were doing the superhero project, because I'm big on superheroes with my Batman and my Superman. So in May, you have any ideas of some of the different areas you're going to be looking to work on as we re-kick off things in May?
Yeah. So we're speaking about Batman and Superman real quick. The Zack Snyder release. Big thumbs up. Anyway, so this summer, when we start in May, it's going to be completely shirts off, dad bod. No, I'm just kidding. What I like to do, what I'm really doing in DMD Plus, is try to tackle all of the BS myths that are out there. Right? There's so many misconceptions in the wellness space, and I'm trying to squash those. So that's what I do. Come on, weekly. We have weekly discussions on those specific nutrition topics, answering specific questions, whatever you have. In May, we're going to kick off a new project that's going to be similar to the superhero project, because one of the things that I believe is, as dads, with my goal of picking up my son, we need to be strong. Stronger people are harder to kill. Stronger people are more useful in general. It's just a fact, right? And as we think about this long term, when we're all 80 and 90, we want to think about our quality of life.
Yeah.
And most research indicates stronger you are, the higher your quality of life will be. Doesn't necessarily mean you'll live longer, but at least your quality will be higher.
Better.
So that's what we're going to be starting to work on in May, is really focusing on strength, really helping a lot of the dads that are in there understanding what an actual good strength and conditioning program will look like for you. And that's what we're kicking off in May. And I'm pretty excited about that one.
I love it. Well, folks, thank you so much for your time today. I know we're here at our hour. Chris, Scott, thank you all so much for sharing some of your expertise and helping folks to level up, break through some of these barriers, and learn a little bit more about what this process entails. And so, as Scott said, as Chris mentioned, we would love to see you, especially you DMD guys, over in DMD Plus. Like I said, we're going to be opening those doors back up. You can get more information about Plus at dadsmarriedtodoctors.com /DMD Plus waiting list, and you can come and see what we're all about. But until then, we enjoy having you in the group, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you. Why don't I ever know how to stop these things?